Now, one of the big changes that you've made for FIFA 22 on next gen is Hypermotion, which is going to make football and FIFA feel way more realistic. But can you tell me a bit about it? What exactly is Hypermotion, Sam?
Hypermotion is a next-gen exclusive technology powered by real football that brings gameplay to the next level of realism. Hypermotion integrates advanced 11 versus 11 mocap and machine learning for the first time to create the most authentic, responsive, and fluid experience on the pitch.
So what does that mean exactly? What's this 11v11 mocap you're talking about, and how does machine learning kind of come into that?
In the past, we used to capture animation in a mocap studio through an optical way of doing it. And we used to have maybe 1, 2, 3 players, and we would tell them, go to this direction, kick the ball in this direction. So advanced 11 versus 11 motion capture. XN Suits allows us to, for the first time, capture 22 professional footballers playing on the pitch. In other words, the data from these players in the real football environment, it's where it's powering the motion of players and teams in FIFA 22.
So what does the algorithm, the machine learning algorithm, do with all that data? How does it take all that data from that match and all the other data that you have and apply it to the animations that are used in FIFA 22?
Learns from over 8.7 million frames from the advanced 11 versus 11 mocap, and then in real time creates animation. This animation creates more organic and fluid motion in a different set of scenarios in the game. So what you're gonna see is players alternating between different, like let's say a short step and then a longer step to properly get into the position where he can kick the ball for either a pass or shot or just a ball control. And that just makes things look and feel more like football. Motion is more fluid because players in real life, they adjust their cadence, they look at the ball, they position their bodies to get there, to get to the ball. And that's what you see with this new machine learning technology that we have in the game in FIFA 22.
Can you tell me a bit more about this match, this 11v11 match? Because I think we've all seen, or FIFA fans will have seen videos of players doing motion capture in those suits with the little white dots on them. But this was a full game of football with all 22 players wearing these suits, right?
So I remember you telling us a story about the 11v11 in Spain, right? Like you were hyping up the players, you were telling them, go really hard, this is your chance to be in the game. And what happened there?
That the data is more athletic now, there's more intensity, physicality is there, and also a lot of behaviors that you don't usually get with regular motion capture. Players being more human, you get to take all these behaviors and talking and pointing, directing people. You get all these little things, all these football behaviors. Now we have them and we can put them in the game, which makes a more authentic version of FIFA.
And the other thing I noticed was the emotion. There was a play I saw where the player didn't get the ball, and you could tell he was so frustrated. Like, why didn't you pass the ball to me? And that was so natural, just that the way he did that emotion. So we put that into the game.
So this is really changing how we capture animation in football, and it's taking it to the next level.
Just the natural behaviors that Gabe was touching on, the physicality that you couldn't get in a mocap shoot that's more structured. Now we see players just naturally falling over each other. Just sounds so simple, but it's actually quite hard to direct and say, just fall over. You need to put it in a real environment and see the players just come together naturally and make these falls. So that's just one part of it, but like there's so much more that we can gather from this XN data, which really elevates the game.
Will that differ depending on how good the player is? Like, will Lionel Messi approach the ball differently to a League 2 player or, you know, a player from a lower division in FIFA?
There's definitely some personality in terms of how we calculate how well the player can get into the ball, how fast. There's multiple systems that combine to give you that fluidity. Messi will be a little bit faster to get to the ball. However, here is more not necessarily about the personality, it's just about knowing how you need to get to the ball. So when you put all the systems together, then yes, players like Messi, players like Ronaldo, they have a better sense of how to shield, how to position their body so you can get away from the defender.
Obviously, football isn't just about individuals, right? It's also about teams and tactics, and there's new features called team intelligence, or we're adding more team intelligence to FIFA 22. Sean, can you tell me a bit more about that, please?
It's driven by the power of the new generation of consoles. Tactical AI creates deeper intelligence for all 22 players on the pitch. This starts with the attacking side of things. Now in the attack, each of these players can have up to 6 times more decisions per second than ever before. So now the attacking runs are much more intelligent. And also the build-up play and the chance creation, the players make much more supported runs, which improves the level of tactics. Also, the defensive side of things is a big improvement too for tactical AI. This was completely rewritten this year. So now the defensive side of positioning team do more zonal marking and defend as a unit. It looks like a real game when you're watching it on TV. Like teams nowadays play very tactical, very structured formation. So we wanted to get that feeling across into. This example shows the defensive rewrite of the system. You can see the back four working in a unit and as a zonal marking to really work together from when the ball switches from one side of the pitch to the other side. They shift together as a team to really work as a unit and defend that space.
So tactics is one thing, and we've all watched Champions League finals where it's like a chess game, but we've also all watched, or at least I've watched a lot of League 2 football where it's more like a wrestling match. How does Hypermotion improve the physicality of players?
We've added the new kinetic air battles. So now when the ball's in the air, you see the differences where two players are synced together. So the visuals of two players going up for the header look way better than it ever has.
Yeah, and the thing about the new headers, right, we're using the two-player interaction technology. So now, as you said, we're syncing up two players going up for the ball. So when they collide, it actually looks really natural the way they stumble or fall after that collision. It's not like individual objects hitting each other. This is like two players really going up and battling for the ball.
There's a bunch of different areas of FIFA that are being touched by this Hypermotion technology. And another one, Kancho, is ball control, which has really benefited from these extra animations.
Player's first touch is so important in today's modern game. And Hypermotion gives us such a huge animation refresh that now we're able to control the ball more fluidly than ever before. And the way we're doing that is by adding new multi-touch animations. And that's the key. These animations are longer and they have multiple touches, which allows you to bring down a ball off the chest and onto your foot in one fluid motion. So with the longer animations, you're able to take the ball off your thigh, cushion it, and turn quickly away from your opponent. We're calling this feature composed ball control because the players are way more natural at taking that first touch and transitioning to the second one.
I think at the very start of this clip, you can see a multi-touch trap, if I'm not mistaken, where he's shielding the defender. Comes off his thigh, it lands nicely in front of him to then move forward. And yeah, that part of, to me, looks great.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not just the visual improvement. It actually allows the players to control the ball quicker. So one touch off the chest, setting it up for one touch with the foot, and that's it, you're off. It's not like in previous FIFAs where sometimes you take the ball off the chest, it bounces awkwardly, and you have to like adjust. It's way more responsive now because it's literally one touch, two touch, and you're off.
One of the other things that really makes the game feel like real football is the stuff that goes on off the ball. You've made real efforts to humanize the players and to make them not just stand there like mannequins when they're not doing anything, but to look and behave and act like real players would on the pitch.
So when we analyzed the 11v11 advanced mocap, we actually noticed the players are communicating all the time. I'm saying, man on, go here, I'm offering support. All these things that professionals do all the time, every second during a game, communicating, talking. So there's a lot of new behaviors that we've added. Players just gesturing to each other saying like, hey, I was free for a pass, why didn't you pass it to me? Or look, I'm gonna go into this space, pass it to me there. Or look, watch out who's behind you. These are just some examples of the behaviors that we're adding to the game. And some of them are super subtle. You may not pick them up, but you're gonna get this general sense that players are more alive. And the other thing you'll notice about this clip is the way Haaland runs. We have a star-specific locomotion for Erling Haaland. He is a big-time player. He's a young superstar, and the way he runs is so unique. He's kind of got this like a little bit of a hunch in his posture and big strides. So to represent that power and uniqueness of his running style, we've got his running style in the game now.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that we haven't talked about yet is the new goalkeeper system. This new system unlocks much more reliable saves for the goalkeeper, as well as making smarter decisions in vital moments in the game.
And the first thing you notice is like, oh my God, that was so much more fluid than last year's game. Yeah, even just the small details about the way the goalkeeper follows the ball as it passes his hand. That's all much more realistic than it was before. So not only the full body animation of the goalkeeper flying through the air, but the way his head is tracking the ball as it flies into the net.
I'm amazed by the depth you guys have gone to as well, because it's not just the player animations that have been refreshed, but you've really kind of reworked the way the actual ball works, right?
Yeah, that's actually a big one. It's a game-changing feature. So what we're doing in FIFA 22 is we're importing real-world ball data into the game to create the next level of realism in terms of how the ball moves. So we're changing parameters like the friction on the ground, the friction with the air, just how the ball spins, the speed of the ball. And that really changes the perception of the game, how the ball moves. It's a lot more authentic, and you notice that right away.
There's a mechanic called explosive sprint. When you press that right trigger at the right time, you're gonna get a bigger push and acceleration with the ball. Now, this works both on dribbling and defending. So if you're trying to catch up to a dribbler who maybe got a step on you, you're gonna get that boost while just running and sprinting. But if you're a dribbler, you can really lure that opponent in to get close and get by him with a quick acceleration.
That changes the way you defend and attack. You've got to really think about now when you press that sprint button, you get the benefits of waiting and trying to have these mini games between the attacker and the defender to really time these inputs to see this explosion of sprint in both defenses and attacking side of things. So.
All right, that's it for the Spotlight series. For more information, check out EA.com and make sure to follow EA on Twitter. And you won't want to miss EA Play Live at 10 a.m. PST on July 22nd for more about FIFA 22. I've been Amit Katwala from Wired, and this has been Spotlight. Thank you so much for watching.